And it's arrived. My chariot to Denver. I am currently sitting in the cab of a Ford Thor Ace Class A piece of crap. I say that because I made it to Cheyenne, Wyoming halfway. This was supposed to go from Elkhart, Indiana over to Redmond, Oregon, and it'll probably eventually get there, but it won't be me. I only made it halfway to Cheyenne, Wyoming, and then the transmission started overheating. Which, I don't know, I'm pretty much done driving these Class A's. It's just a problem every single time. Now I have a heavy wrecker tow truck coming to get it, and I have to go 95 miles with them south to basically Denver. Commerce City, Colorado has the closest, biggest truck center that will take this rig, I guess. According to the 1-800 number we have to call. But when I got this rig, they have locking pins. I guess I could show you. That little pin right there. And that side, this is a better view for that side. Those two pins are in when I got it. However, they did not assemble this hardware for this side of this leg. They just put the locking pin in there, left the hardware in there, covered the leg, maybe went to break or something, I don't know, at the factory. I mean, things happen. Human error, mistakes happen. But the quality control guy should have come behind them and pulled both locking pins and ran this electric bunk down and back up, and he would have easily discovered that that ain't attached. Instead, I'm driving down the road on some of these more bumpy roads coming out of Elkhart, and the whole damn thing came down because the locking pin came out, and boom, as I'm driving. This was what saved me from having a wreck, but damn near, as you can imagine, almost had a wreck. A couple box truck drivers helped me get that put together the way we think it's supposed to be, but it's the dealership's problem now. I was going to tell them when I got there, but this thing won't let me get there. So I guess the hell with it. Thing, discover it when they go to bring that down someday. The overhead front cap, I'll show you in a moment, had the same issue that was put on there by the locks only, not assembled on the right side. And I had to stop at O'Reilly's and fix that, even though that's not in my job description. Again, it's a quality control issue that they didn't have their quality control going through and fixing anything. Then, I don't know if you can see it or not, that's half of what it is. The range will actually come all the way out and down, and it has a hooked on propane line that a certified propane tech or whatever, not to make sure things don't blow up, would have had to put this in. Obviously it didn't get glued down or screwed down or whatever. I mean, and then it was hot the other day, so I tried to run that vent fan, and it's not wired correctly because it turns on for a second and quits. And if you hit a bump going down the road, it'll turn back on if you leave the switch on. So obviously, loose wire, which is not a big deal, but I'm just saying the combination of a bunch of different stuff in this rig, quite frankly, Thor needs better quality control, and I don't care about posting this video saying that. You want to violate my privacy contract with my company or whatever for saying bad things about your bad quality control, go right ahead at this point, because I'm not going to cover it up anymore. I'm not going to be that person that tells my dispatch what happened and then tries to fix it myself or tries to take it someplace en route to fix it, so that the dealership that we deliver it to has no idea how bad their quality control is, because that's letting them virtually get away with it every single time, and that's how they've gotten such bad quality control, is because people keep covering it up. Simply put. Now go show you the outside of the motorhome, but as you can tell, I'm not very happy. I just lost money on this one. It was supposed to pay roughly $2,400, I think, for 2,150 miles or something, because it had an incentive on it. Now, because I only made it halfway to Wyoming, I'll be leaving with maybe, I don't know, maybe $500 that I have from the first start of this, because they paid me $1,000 up front, and then I'm halfway, and so that $500 was supposed to go to fuel. Now it's not going to go to fuel, and I have to really watch the numbers and see what settlements does on that, since we're splitting it on a breakdown. But most likely I'll get paid $500, maybe $700 in total. They might pay me another couple hundred, maybe, but I kind of doubt it, because I only made it halfway. So in the end, I got screwed on what would be a regular, maybe 1,100 mile run. But we'll see what settlement comes up with as to determine how much I get paid for taking this 1,100 miles. I guess I made it about halfway. Find out on Tuesday, and that's the best part, is it's Memorial Day weekend. So of course Friday afternoon, the time frame now, half the businesses are closed when they're trying to get a hold of dealerships to fix this. And then of course, because of Memorial Day Monday, all the businesses are closed on Monday. So they were forced to drop me from it because I'd have to wait 3 or 4 days to be able to get this thing fixed and keep on going. And the thing is, the transmission overheated, but I almost guarantee you that it's just the transmission fluid, which is down underneath there, that to check it with the 6 star keys, 4 star keys, whatever around there. I don't have the store wrench to do that with, and we're not supposed to do it anyway. I'm supposed to call and get them to tow it and fix it by factory like I'm doing. But anyway, I had looked in the front, and that's when I discovered the front cap wasn't on there completely. I had to fix it when I got in there, but I looked at those, and all based off of all the fluids up there, the brake fluid, the window washer fluid, the oil, and the coolant that I could get to, all of that was just like bare minimum. So I almost guarantee you they put bare minimum, or hardly even that, in transmission fluid in this thing to send it out and go. That's the only fluid I couldn't check because it's underneath that, and I'm not going to go through all the effort of unscrewing that to check the transmission fluid, and it's something I shouldn't have to do. You know, checking the fluids in the front, whatever fluids you can get to, is the gist of what the driver should have to do. If you're driving a rig that you can't easily get to, stuff to pre-check with. So, and I got here, and then the transmission overheated and started acting up, and I guarantee you all it is low transmission fluid, which this is turning into a really big, expensive, costly deal on the manufacturer's part. But the funny part is they could have avoided that by actually filling the levels up to full like they're supposed to, but their cheap asses don't do it. Flat out don't do it. I mean, because it's junk anyway, and they know it's junk. I'm just saying. But we'll go show you the outside of the rig. I said it before and I'll say it again. Don't ever buy a Class A, any model, any type. It's not worth your money. It's a complete sucker deal, in my opinion. Here we go with Wyoming winds. The storm's just about to be here, so I'll show you. Ford Thor Class A Ace is the model, basic base type model. Here's the locking pins I was talking about, and then the hardware that holds these on. Hardware on this side was not even attached. They just held it in by the locking pin. Another quality check that they could have easily caught, but didn't. And then, as you see, leaking something underneath there. So, Breakdown City. I didn't expect to be going to basically Commerce City, which is Denver, tonight, but in truth, that actually works out in my favor to go to Denver if they're just going to split it and release me from it. Because I got maybe like $500 from this trip to get back with. Pick up the next one, which coming out of Denver would be a hell of a lot cheaper. Way more options, because if I got dropped off at the Ford dealership here, who was too small to take it, I would get stranded in Cheyenne with only the bus to come out of here. And because it's Memorial Day weekend, they don't even have a free bus that's not sold out until Tuesday. And even then, it's, I think, $250 or $300 or something for a long 2-day bus tour all the way around everywhere else, the way the computer system for the Greyhound works. But you go out of Denver, it goes direct. So I might take a bus, Amtrak, or I might be able to fly back. I don't know yet, but my options are better based out of Denver. And so I'm happy with that solution. The only thing that sucks is now I'm waiting 90 to 120 minutes for the tow. And of course, 95 miles south to Commerce City, Colorado tonight. So at the end of the day, I'm going to be spending 6 hours, I think, in total, waiting to get done with this thing. And then I'm going to stay in it overnight tonight, just because it's free to do so at their dealership. Hand on the keys in the morning when I wake up, and then hit the trail. I might go visit a couple friends in Denver, but, you know, and then fly back and get the next one. And I think I'm done with Class A's. They're just continuous problems, this one being the worst one that I've driven yet. That overhead failure shouldn't have happened. That front trunk cap thing, again, could have been caught at the factory, wasn't. You know, about the time that they should be filling the fluids full, that they didn't. And then the range in the back come flying off, the stove range, that has a propane line hooked to it, which is another safety issue in itself because of propane. And then the bathroom vent. That's what I've discovered thus far. And I'm not afraid at all to point it all out on video, because you know, you want me to keep this stuff private. It's maybe only have 1 or 2 things wrong, not 5 or 6. on the list. I mean, this was bad quality control. Somebody signed off on this thing without even looking at it. And my major thing was why I'm pissed off about it is that overhead right there. As I'm driving along, that passenger seat saved me from one hell of a wreck. Not expecting the overhead to just come flying down like that. Big time safety issue. So anyway, this is Thor Motorhomes. I do have to say, after this trip, probably the cheapest of the Class A's that you can buy, I think, coming out of their factory. But even still, like I said before, I would never buy any Class A. You're just playing the sucker's bet. Heard at one time they make them for around 50 grand, give or take, in parts and the chassis and all that, and then sell them for 144 to 150 grand. And the dealership takes 50 and they take 50 at the factory. So they're playing you for your sucker if you buy this crap. I highly recommend, if you need something bigger than a Class B, which I recommend a Class B camper van any day. You know, any type of Class B camper van is going to hold up a lot longer than this. If you can't do that because of the size, you need something bigger for a bigger family, go with Class C's, because most of the time the Class C's that I've driven have not had issues either. It's just these Class A's. They're not built to do anything but to go someplace, park, and leave it. They're like a vacation home all summer long someplace. You know, they're definitely not built to live in full time on the road. Things just fall apart if they weren't assembled in the first place. But I thought I would, let you know the real info on Thor. Like and subscribe, leave comments, check out the merchandise below in my channel for the reviews on these RVs, and I will catch you on the flip. Peace.